The Seattle Seahawks just reminded the NFL that they are far from done. After weeks of being doubted, after critics questioned their balance and chemistry, Seattle walked into Jacksonville and silenced one of the league's hottest teams. This wasn't luck or a random surge. It was a statement win that looked and felt like something bigger. Every snap carried a sense of control. Every sideline reaction had that spark of belief that this group was finally syncing together at every level. Something changed inside this team, and everyone watching could feel it. The shocking part is how different this win looked compared to just a week ago. No shootouts, no chaos, no panic. Seattle dictated the tempo from the start, trusting Sam Darnold to manage the game and Jackson Smith-Njigba to turn short windows into long plays. They didn't need flash. They needed focus, and they finally found it. The offense didn't explode, but it delivered when it mattered most. And that calm rhythm was exactly what this team had been searching for. It wasn't about numbers. It was about identity, and it finally resurfaced. What nobody's talking about is how this performance might reshape the entire outlook of their season. You could see it in how players reacted after every drive, a mix of confidence and control that hasn't been there in weeks. The message was clear. The Seattle Seahawks are done playing catch-up. They're building momentum, and this offense is leading the way. But what really sparked that confidence was how everything started to click between the quarterback and his receivers, setting up a wave of chemistry that completely flipped the game's tone. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Seahawks and all the NFL content. Can we get 100 likes on this video? Nobody expected Seattle's offense to flip the field with one strike, but that is exactly what happened. The Jaguars loaded the box, the crowd got loud, and then the ball left Sam Darnold's hand and found Jackson Smith-Njigba streaking free. The deep shot for 61 yards did more than move the chains. It changed the mood. What looked like a grind turned into clarity, and the defense across from them felt it right away. Here's the twist. The run game never found clean air, so Seattle leaned into timing and trust. Pass protection settled, the play action held just long enough, and JSN kept winning leverage over and over. He stacked corners, snapped out of breaks, and punished any single coverage on the boundary. By the time the quarter turned, he had 8 catches for 162 yards and 1 touchdown, and Jacksonville could not decide whether to shade help or live with the risk. Every snap after that felt like Seattle was choosing the matchup, not reacting to it. This is where the quarterback comes in. Sam Darnold did not chase a shootout, he guided the flow and took what the game gave him. His line of 16 completions on 27 attempts for 295 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions tells the story of poise more than flash. The real question is how he kept his eyes calm when the ground game stalled and third downs tightened. That answer lives in his command at the line and his feel for when to attack, which is exactly where we go next. Here is what changed. Sam Darnold stopped the noise and took the game into his hands. He read the front, shifted protection, and turned long fields into smart fields. No panic, no hero ball, just clean throws on time. He moved the pocket when heat came, reset his feet, and kept his eyes downfield. The ball went where leverage said it should go, and that choice kept Seattle in charge of pace and risk. The twist is how he won without a steady run. When the box tightened, he used motion and cadence to get tells, then attacked the soft spots outside. He did not chase yards, he hunted moments. Snap by snap, he trusted his first read when it was clean and calmly worked to the second when it was not. That is why the offense felt steady even with short gains on the ground. The box score shows calm, but the tape shows control. What nobody is talking about is the trust he built with his receivers in high-stress snaps. When coverage squeezed the boundary and safeties leaned toward the hot hand, he found a veteran who slipped free at the perfect time. It was a simple concept that looked like a trick because the timing was so sharp. That connection opened a new door in this scheme, and it points straight to a weapon that defenses forgot to respect. Seattle found a veteran gear when Kupp slipped behind coverage and pulled in his first touchdown in a Seahawks jersey. The route sold one story and delivered another, and Sam Darnold put the ball where only Kupp could reach it. That single moment carried the feel of a turning point because it forced Jacksonville to respect a second threat while the stadium waited for the next deep shot to JSN. The value was bigger than one score. Kupp worked the soft space and turned tight windows into easy throws. His line of 3 catches for 71 yards reads simple, but the timing was the real edge. He showed the defense just enough to freeze their eyes, then broke away with clean footwork. Trust showed up in how fast the ball left Darnold's hand and how calm the sideline looked after the catch landed. This new layer changes how teams must play Seattle. Shade too much help toward JSN and Kupp punishes it. Sit in too high and the seams open for the tight ends and crossers. That is the offensive picture right now, but the reason this win held firm did not come from route trees. It came from a wave of pressure that kept Trevor Lawrence uncomfortable from start to finish, and that is where we go next. Seattle turned the pocket into a trap and never let Trevor Lawrence breathe. The rush kept closing from all sides until every drop back felt tight and hurried. By the end, the number that told the story was simple and loud. 7 sacks. That pressure changed field position, cut drives in half, and stole the crowd's voice one snap at a time. The names behind it hit in waves. DeMarcus Lawrence finished with 2.5 sacks and lived in the backfield. Byron Murphy added 2 more from the interior with a burst that beat double looks. Uchenna Nwosu kept winning on loops and squeezes. Leonard Williams punched the middle with a half sack and steady hits that forced quick throws. Stunts worked because the first step was violent and the second step stayed in the lane, which shut off escape doors before they opened. The outcome showed up on money downs. Jacksonville came up short again and again, closing the day at 4 of 16 on 3rd down. That is what a real pass rush does. It steals rhythm before the sticks, then makes the final snap feel impossible. Here is the twist that makes it even bigger. Seattle did all of this while missing key starters in the secondary, and that system trust is the next part of the story. Here's the part that nobody saw coming. Seattle walked into this game without Julian Love, without Devin Witherspoon, and without Rick Woolen. Yet the back end stayed calm. Safeties communicated, corners passed routes, and the middle of the field never felt free. The scoreboard told the truth. Jacksonville finished with 12 points, and not one drive felt easy. The reason was not a miracle play. It was alignment and trust. Safeties showed one picture before the snap, then rotated into a different shell as the ball left the center. Corners squeezed outside leverage and forced timing throws into tight space. Linebackers kept the hook zones clean, with Ernest Jones steady in traffic and Drake Thomas battling before he stepped out with a brief knock. The result was a defense that looked connected even with new faces on the field. This is where the story tilts toward power. When coverage holds its shape, the rush arrives on time, and when the rush gets home, the coverage looks even faster. That loop strangled explosive plays and pushed Jacksonville into long yardage. The next question is simple and sharp. What happened to the run that usually bails them out, and how did Seattle own those money downs? That answer changes the mood of the entire game. Seattle completely erased Jacksonville's ground game, holding Travis Etienne and the Jaguars to just 59 rushing yards at 3.1 per carry. The defensive front stayed disciplined, winning first contact and closing every cutback lane before it opened. That dominance on early downs turned passing situations into traps, with linebackers jumping routes and safeties crashing downhill to force short throws. Jacksonville's offense lost rhythm, protection broke down, and drives died before reaching midfield. Controlling the line also gave Seattle's offense better field position, setting up a quiet but important impact from second-year tight end A.J. Barner, whose smart route timing with Sam Darnold helped extend possessions and keep pressure off the defense. Your turn to weigh in and help drive the next chapter. Who is your player of the game today? Do you think A.J. Barner will keep carving out touches when defenses shade even more help to JSN and Kupp? What is your one word for this win? Drop your thoughts and your score pick for Houston on Monday night in the comments. If you want more daily Seahawks breakdowns, hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive.